this button and say, yo, what up? How's it going, man?
It's going good. I really just for this deck, I just want to make sure you think the block zones, like, think I need more highs or more lows. Right now, at this very moment, is perfect 60, 20 cards for each block zone. Just, I don't like manifest. That is the only restriction of don't touch a card. Don't add it to my deck, please.
Sure. Yeah, man, let's take a look.
I will say in playtesting, I have yet to see Lever Mode, so I don't know if it's a good card. Because if I don't like it, I'll probably just go back to Cremations, because I think it's the same block zone.
It's the opposite. High versus low.
Ah. Darn.
Self-assured. How do you feel about this card?
I have yet to actually get to use it in a game, because I always check it.
Okay. I'm a big self-assured hater. I think this card's not very good. If you were going to play this card, I would rather just be another specialist. It's the same check and actually gets to help kill my opponent.
Yeah, that was one of the cards I was in my nats list that I really didn't see, so I was like, I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to take it out to say, not saying I didn't give it a try. If I get to use it, I would just, if I got to see it and I didn't like it, I'd take it out and put the specialist up. It's one of those things.
8 4-checks. Seems like a lot for 34, right?
Yeah.
How is Internet Sensation working for you? Is there not just like a better 5-check you could be playing?
I've actually gotten it to go off multiple times solely just because you do have those +3s when you. So on a 5 again, you check a 8.
Mm-hmm.
You get that +1 damage. It's gradual damage over time, and if they can keep half blocking, it's that +1 for the half check, which I needed last night to kill you. So.
Sure. Do you think it's not better than Chivalrous Competitor as a 1/5?
I only own one.
That would be why. That was a good enough reason.
Honestly, if I owned more Chivalrous, I would have 3 Chivalrous to take out Self-Assured and Internet Sensation.
Self-assured. Okay. Yeah, I also don't hate the internet at the like, even if it was at a 1 of, right? Of like, if I see it, I see it. It's very cool, and something like struggling up to the 4 of. Same block zone, right? We still are there, but this card just says that you don't die to the string decks as well.
Yeah.
I also think that you're not going to need Lover Mode in this deck. I want you to test with it, obviously. Or if you do, like, you ready? You could have 1 Lover Mode and then 1 Cremation. Because, like, they're both doing that same idea of the job. And Cremation works with twisting, as Lover Mode doesn't.
You're right. That is fair. I've always typically just hard slam. I've killed someone with just a Twisting Azure and a Jolt. It was like a 12 mid for 22.
Yeah.
Twisting Azure. I have just kind of slammed cards down and hoped and prayed.
Sure.
That's how I've always been with this deck. It's just, what does the deck hand me? Alright, let's see if I can kill.
Yeah. Your difficulty curve is incredible, right? Of like 13, 14, 11. Like this is very good compared. Like if you wanted to make like micro changes, Petty Squabble could probably be a 1 of now that you can't ready it. Now that you can't ready Tokoyami anymore. I love the inclusion of the 4 Frozen. I think that's so cool.
I've always liked Frozen because it's a targeted, let me get rid of release, let me get rid of that thing that's going to make it harder for me to kill you.
Oh, it doesn't select, but it is just like a splicing stun 1 on every move.
Yeah.
Dangerous Combatant also could be a replacement for Chivalrous, because with things like Giant Ice Wall, and like playing a bunch of really fast moves, their boards get committed out pretty quickly.
I haven't even looked at adding the Toga stuff in just because I didn't think about it. Because I forget the new Toga stuff's all in Chaos.
Yeah. Incredible display should exist somewhere in your sideboard. Canceling a response is very good. So that your opponent
The
can't
pass-through walls is there.
so your opponent can't learn any of the standards you.
What does learning the standards do again?
They have to play a non-attack card as the next one. And so they do it after you play your Summon Dark Shadow. And they go, boop. You're like, well. well.
Well, I'm going to slam down this lover mode if I see it.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. It still eats you the +3 to your check, though, right?
Yeah. Typically on the turns that I go in, I have at least 2 Summon Dark Shadows in hand, just because I've always been fearful of those type of situations.
Sure. Surge. Surge is a crazy card. As like a very cool one of and a use of your momentum. Giving this card EX is not fair. It also, like, you could just commit it and do a bunch of cool stuff, right? Your range deck gets stun 1 and 1 speed for each card your rival's blocked. If they like block a bunch of stuff, you're like, hey, gets speed equal. It gets +3 speed, not to mention the +2/+2 that I have from the Summon Dark Shadows. Okay, this one's unblockable and it's your life total.
I even looked at doing Vast Fiber just because it's free momentum. It's usable for the echo moves. It's good for the echo move, the ice wall, all that type of stuff. Just because it just kind of flings itself into momentum and cool.
Yeah.
I've also been playing
Go ahead.
with the fire build, and it's not been as much fun as the chaos build in my opinion, just because the chaos build has so much more. Cool, I'm gonna pick this back up, and I'm gonna keep playing it.
Yeah.
Training with Gunhead, I mainboarded out of 2 of just because throws are the nightmare of Tokoyami, basically.
Yeah.
And there's now a big throw move in the meta, so it should be a 3 of at this point, just because Fallen Skies is a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get that fully. Yeah, I think I know I haven't said very much, but like you came to me with like a very finished, polished deck.
I was more just trying to get your ideas. Like, even if it was cremation's better than lever mode. Okay, that's cool.
I don't know if it's so my thing about lover mode is the discard 1, draw 2 for the 1 card in your hand. It only works if you find this thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you find this thing, you're supposed to win the game anyways.
I have had multiple times where I have played a Dark Shadow Ruin into a twisting and still lost.
Huh.
Just because. And then it was Dark Shadow Ruin into some Dark Shadow into twisting into another some Dark Shadow into a Frigid. Whiff on the mill, draw 2 foundations.
So the question is does draw 2 at the beginning of that turn and have +1 to your progressive difficulty until you get the ruin in the card pool? Does that fix it? Or does +3 speed on a single move that needs to land, would that fix it instead?
What? Cremation gives 1 speed, I thought. Or is it 3?
Cremation is pay 1 health +3 speed.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, I always played Cremation out of 2 of just because it wasn't a card that you needed to win, but when you had it, it was nice. When you needed it, it was nice.
Yeah. Are you going to Worlds?
I currently am planning on it.
Okay.
Financially, it's not looking like I am.
Okay. We'll use Worlds as our deadline, right? Spend the next week playing Lover Mode. Spend the next week jamming Lover Mode and be like, take vigorous notes. Was this impactful? Did the 2 cards that I draw on this turn matter? Did I draw it in tandem with Ruin, right? I tactically have to use these 2 cards together. Using them not together. Was I able to kill with Lover Mode without Ruin? Because there's certainly times that you can kill with Cremation. I'll Cremation this Shock Treatment and this kill you out because of it. And I didn't have there was no Ruin in sight. And like there's the question. Like, does this card even work? Does it matter?
Yeah, I did some playtesting with it, and in like the 12 games I played with it, I didn't see Lover Mode once. For some odd reason, but and for some reason, whenever I cycled on TTS, it just cycles both Lover Modes out.
Yeah.
So I don't even see it. I guess I just don't get to play with it.
Nah.
It's just a 5-check at this point. For chat, I have tried Manifest. I tried it at Nats. I actually came up to Tam was talking to him about it. Just the deck did not like me. Manifest just feels wrong. It's always going to be on a 3 or a 5, because even if it's Summon Dark Shadow Ruin, and to do the actions don't count, you play another attack and you kick it, it's still on a 5.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right. Check a 3. Why would I fail it? I just attempted to draw a card and kind of clear progressive, but I'm now committing more foundations for it. I just don't. The block on it is nice. I like the blocking with it. I mostly used for it when I was at Nats, just because it just didn't feel right playing it in the attack string. Yeah.
That's fair, man.
Just for people asking in chat.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would want to change is I think this card is like the reason you play Chaos Tokoyami right now is just Rescue Specialist. So I would figure out some way to put this up at the 4 of, but truthfully without like increasing the number, right? Because we don't want to do that, and like cutting we could cut like 1 irrefutable.
Even the Wolfwood deck I built on Fire is 66 cards, because you're still milling, and you're going to get through your deck quickly.
Yeah.
Regardless, because Tokoyami says once per turn, discard 5.
Sure.
Just straight off the bat. So you've already discarded 6 plus the X number of cards you've drawn for the turn.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm down. We could put it up to the 4 of if we want to. It is tossing 2 more 4 checks in your deck, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 4 checks are now inside of your Tokoyami deck, which seems very scary. I would probably drop the Internet Sensation and Self Assured for them, just because they're 4 checks.
Drop
but
the Internet Sensation to 1. Yeah, we've already done it to 1. I guess take out Self Assured, because there's already so much draw in the deck. I don't really think having, because by the time I would use it, I would have already cycled and it's not usable anymore.
Yeah, if that's the case, to keep this at 60, I mean, we could drop it down to a 3 of if we really wanted to. Because I'm also trying to get 4 checks out of your deck, right?
I don't mind having, as long as it's not more than 66, just because for some reason 66 feels right to me with a mill deck, a mill-ing deck.
Sure. My issue with it is 10 more cards you have to get through, and you have a specific card you have to find. Whereas with Wolfwood, we're not looking for a Summon Dark Shadow in Wolfwood. It just happens. We have to find Summon Dark Shadow, or else our deck just doesn't work. We have to find Shadow, and we have to find Ruin. If we don't find those 2 cards, our deck is just is not real. It's not a real deck.
It dwardles and it sits there.
Yeah, and so any number above 60 is not good, truthfully.
I think at Nats I was playing a 63 card list. Just because it felt, with me, I've always liked a little bit thicker Tokoyami deck than what people normally do. Just because you do mill. And for some reason, whenever I shuffle, I always have that perfect right where I need it to summon Dark Shadow.
Yeah. If that's the case, then let's leave it at 61 and just see how it plays then. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Block zones haven't changed too terribly much. You got little tighter lows than highs. But if we just swap, if we just toss this down to the one of, and then that's the wrong button. Put cremation up at the one of, your block zones are back where they are.
The reason why I was going for just dead even block zones is because it allowed you to have more creative room to go. We've already got 20, 20, 20.
Yeah.
If I go to 18 on the highs, 18 on the lows, 24 mid blocks, okay, or 22 mid blocks,
Yeah.
something like that. It just gave you more creative room to help.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
I think that
All right, man.
looks good to me.
Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the support on Patreon. Stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the list, okay?
I'm still watching your stream.
Hell yeah.
Actively.
Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
You as well. Peace.